Binge or Bin from The Independent, giving you the lowdown on which TV shows are binge-worthy and which ones are bin-worthy. This week, we'll be discussing Season 2 of Apple TV Plus's football comedy Ted Lasso and Manifest on Sky One.
We've also caught up with Netflix sketch show I Think You Should Leave and Season 2 of Aisling Bea's comedy drama This Way Up.
And we'll introduce you to our picks of hidden gems we think you should be watching.
Hey Jacob.
Hey Annabel, how you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. You'll notice a change of scenery. I'm actually in the middle of moving house, but let's talk TV. You've been watching Ted Lasso?
I have indeed. And Ted Lasso is the Apple TV Plus sitcom which is returning for a second season. For those who don't know, Ted Lasso is the ultimate underdog show. Ted is an American football coach who's considered a bit hapless, doesn't really know what he's doing, so he's the perfect candidate to manage AFC Richmond when the owner wants the club to sink because it's the only thing her ex-husband, who had a very public affair, loves. However, the kindness of Ted wins through and he slowly starts chipping away at everyone's heart, including the viewers.
So, you're heavily favoured this weekend. You think this will end your embarrassing streak of draws?
Lloyd, I've never been embarrassed about having streaks in my draws.
And things start going well. And it's nice in a comedy show, or in any show, to see positivity win out. It's based on a series of comedy shorts that was produced by NBC Sports when they were covering the Premier League a few seasons ago. And more credit to Bill Lawrence, who created Scrubs, Jason Sudeikis, who plays Ted, Brendan Hunt, who's in the show, and Joe Kelly, who's not in the show, for thinking that this had series potential, because Ted Lasso is one of the best comedies I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, so we've got Jason Sudeikis, who's obviously a huge name. Is there anyone else that viewers would recognise?
Yeah, so you've got Hannah Waddingham, who plays Rebecca, the owner of the football club. You might notice from Game of Thrones. And you've also got Nick Mohammed, who's recently been seen in a few kind of big shows. He was in Inside Number 9, this time with Alan Partridge, and Intelligence with David Schwimmer.
So this feels like I know the answer already, but is it a binge or a bin?
I'm really resisting the urge to do loads of football puns, because Ted Lasso would be doing football puns here. So all I'll say is it's a back of the net binge.
All right, let's go kick their butts.
Butts on 3.
Works for me. 1, 2, 3. Butts!
Annabel, I think you should leave. Not my views,
Yes.
but the name of the next TV show you are talking about.
That is a good joke. I interrupted, so...
So Annabel, I think...
Couldn't even get it out.
No, it's so cringe. Annabel, I think you should leave. Not my views, but the name of the next TV show you're talking about.
For those who don't know, I Think You Should Leave is a Netflix sketch show by Tim Robinson, who was previously on Saturday Night Live, and it shows. Every sketch is so funny, and they all take place in kind of ordinary settings, so an office, a meeting room, a birthday party, a TV commercial, and it kind of introduces Robinson and a handful of other characters into these bizarre, strange, manic, stressful, and humiliating most of the time circumstances. And the result is just pure comedy.
Hey, hold that door! Hold that door! Hold that door!
It's always surprising. You think you know where it's going in one direction and it goes a completely different one. And on the surface, it is toilet gags and sex jokes and jokes about hot dogs. But I've read a lot of good articles about how there's something going on beneath the surface about rage and internet performativity. The first season garnered huge critical acclaim, and now 2 years later, we finally have a second season. So this time around, we've got a really impressive slate of guest stars, including Better Call Saul's Bob Odenkirk, who is responsible for one of this season's best sketches. And we've also got Paul Walter Hauser, who is a well-known comedian and was last seen in Disney's live-action remake of Cruella opposite Emma Stone. But the real highlight, the scene stealer of this season, is Patty Harrison, who was also in season 1 and returns here as both a star and a writer. She is so funny.
So, overall, do you think I should leave to binge or bin this show?
Yeah, it's a massive binge.
Let's try and keep the comments and questions related to the ghost tour, okay?
Any of these little f***ers ever pop out of the f***ing wall?
So I have been watching season 3 of Manifest, which is a network TV show following passengers of a flight who, after a bit of turbulence in the air, land in New York to find that they're all presumed dead and 5.5 years have passed since they took off from Jamaica. Manifest fans are going through a bit of a time because the show has been cancelled. It will not be returning for a season 4, despite Jeff Rake, the creator, promising fans that there will be a new network or Netflix might pick it up. Netflix have since said that they're not going to do that. So going into season 3, you will be watching a show that ends on a cliffhanger and won't have a conclusion. So for that alone, it's a bit of a struggle to get through. But what I will say for Manifest is that in a time when network TV shows kind of fall into the wayside in terms of cable TV shows and streaming service shows like Game of Thrones, like Stranger Things, it really did kind of weather the turbulence, no pun intended. A plane in a drama makes you think of Lost, and I am a massive Lost fan, so for me Manifest had to go a long way to try and remove itself from the shadow of Lost. Did it do it? No, it never even got near to doing that. But what it did do was it built up a loyal fan base, and it made me think that it had a direction and it had an ending, which Jeff Rake has said there was 2 more seasons planned at least. So for that alone, it is a shame that Manifest won't be continuing. Was it high quality drama? No. Was it watchable drama? Certainly. I think the other thing to note that probably worked against the show is that it didn't star like a big name. The actors who do star in it are Melissa Roxburgh, who you might know from the Diary of a Wimpy Kid films if you've seen them, and Josh Dallas, who had a starring role in Once Upon a Time, the ABC show.
So there's a lot of TV out there and we have to be increasingly discerning. In your mind, is Manifest a binge or a bin?
As it stands, it's cancelled. It's not coming back. There's no ending to this show. So, regretfully, it is a bin.
Hey! What do you want?
So finally, season 2 of Aisling Bea's dramedy This Way Up is back for its 2nd season on Channel 4, and it's also on Hulu for people in the US. Aisling Bea, of course, returns as creator, writer, and star of the series, and fans of the show will remember we first meet her character in season 1 as she's checking out of a mental health facility and really being supported by her sister, who is played by the always brilliant Sharon Horgan.
We're all just out here trying, aren't we? And sometimes what you want to do,
honestly, that's, oh no,
is scream.
So now in season 2, she's a bit more grounded. She's found her feet a little more in life and also in romance. She's in a bit more of a steady relationship with her season 1 love interest, Richard, who is played by Crown's Tobias Menzies. But while the romance is sweet, what really sets the show apart, as was the case in season 1 also, is the on-screen chemistry between Aisling Bea and Sharon Horgan as sisters. They're just so believable. They really possess that kind of intimate, intense, annoying bond that feels so unique to sisters, and they're hopelessly codependent and completely entangled in one another's lives, and watching their relationship really just evolve on screen is such a joy. Just like season 1 and also Sharon Horgan's past series Catastrophe with Rob Delaney, which is also on Channel 4 and you should definitely watch if you haven't already. It just perfectly treads the line between devastatingly sad and just riotously funny.
Great, so This Way Up, binge or bin?
It's a massive binge.
I really worry about you getting carried away.
Shona, cop on. Carried away.
So on Binge or Bin, we like to shine a light on the shows that you have completely escaped your radar, shows you might not know about, on the shows you've had on your radar and you've been meaning to watch and completely forgotten about. So my hidden gem this week is the Armando Iannucci Shows, which is a 8-episode sitcom starring Armando Iannucci, who is the creator of The Thick of It, Veep, and a director of films The Death of Stalin and The Personal History of David Copperfield. Now, back in 2001, Armando Iannucci was a real burgeoning name in comedy, and he's really kind of credited for bringing together a lot of comic talents, including Chris Morris, who went on to do Brass Eye, and Steve Coogan, who obviously is Alan Partridge, and he wrote some episodes of Alan Partridge as well. So Armando Iannucci did his own show, which is kind of like it's him doing these philosophical musings in the most surreal sketches imaginable.
Clearly, some of us have a big problem with reality.
Why aren't you a lemon? Why?
So the comedy in the Armando Iannucci shows is quite hard to pin down, but it's basically it's semi-presented by Iannucci, and It kind of encapsulates the social awkwardness of certain situations that we can all relate to. In Armando Iannucci's hands, he takes it to an uber surreal level. He has said that the Armando Iannucci shows is some of the material that he's most proud of throughout his career, and it's something that you will be wanting to watch, not just one episode of in one sitting, but probably the whole 8. Really, really funny, observational humour.
One night I logged onto my bank's website to see how much money I owned, when I suddenly became involved in a hold-up. It was an online bank robbery.
So my pick for this episode is Crashing, which is Phoebe Waller-Bridge's other show that's not Fleabag. Both shows kind of came out in 2016, but Crashing really flew under the radar. The show follows a group of 20-somethings who live in a guardianship, which is essentially an arrangement where people can pay really cheap rent to live in empty buildings. In this case, it's a debilitated hospital building. And in this, Waller-Bridge plays Lulu, and as always, she is brilliantly cringe.
No, it's okay. I can't believe it. I know you can't.
Lou, I have been in love with you.
I'm joking.
But again, like Fleabag, one of her greatest strengths as a creator is kind of putting together a stellar ensemble cast. Comedian Louise Ford plays Kate, who's kind of this neurotic, anal character who, if we're drawing comparisons to Fleabag, is kind of the closest to her sister in that show. She is responsible for some of the show's best laughs. Gavin and Stacey star Adrian Scarborough also makes an appearance as the older gentleman in the guardianship, and his character is just really heartwarming and sweet. It isn't Fleabag, but what's great about Crashing is it's really not meant to be. It's not trying to be anything that it's not, and it feels like a really great precursor to Fleabag. If you haven't seen it, I would definitely recommend checking out Phoebe Waller-Bridge's other show.
God, what happened?
I was just telling
The vase blew up.
Well, it didn't.
Oh my God, how? I was just... Oh my God, are you okay?
Yes.
Oh my God.
You okay?
I'm a bit shaken, actually.
Thanks so much for watching Binge or Bin. There's some great recommendations there, especially some comedy shows to keep you laughing until we see you again next time. Like and comment below, and subscribe for more from independent TV.